approval, that seemingly approval, illegal approval, to stop the trade modernization project from accessing the fund, the $300 million funding. That is where they are rushing. The whole something is too shady.
The urgency
in it. That is why we want Mr. President to stop.
So let the due process
be followed. Let the issues concerning court cases, legal matters be resolved. It is only when that is done. You cannot award a contract to one company. You gave a letter. Late Abba Kyari gave a letter of award to that effect and told them the terms of operation. And because late Abba Kyari died, and the ICRC chairman too, that is the infrastructural construction person too, he died. So some cabal, some hijackers now believe that they can hijack the project and bring in another new company. So the new company now, they are now saying that they don't need to do their own investments. They can access the counterpart funding right from commencement. So what we want Mr. President to do is that they should stop these people from accessing that money. Thank you. This scam on e-custom project, the grand plan of the administration to compensate the BSO or alleged group by deep throat, is Ahmed Ali desperate to amass funds for the proposed grandiose presidential library? We ask the FCC to move fast and restrain illegal depletion and withdrawals. Verifiable record at the CAC indicates that the same Zainab Jumai Adijola is a shareholder and director in trade modernization project, while Amadou Saleh, an ally of Ahmed Ali and biological brother of Zainab, is the chairman of Bagamans Security Consultant and Supplies Limited. That is a consortium in the trade modernization group. Could this simply mean that Ahmed Ali has awarded the project to himself and cronies as a part of parting gift few weeks to the end of the Buhari administration? Nigerians need to know that presently the dispute on the rightful concessionaire to the e-custom project is before the Federal High Court. That's another angle to it. In June 2022, the court restrained the federal government from enforcing or giving effect to the agreement on the custom modernization project, otherwise known as East Custom, allegedly executed by its agents on 30th May 2022, which substituted the rightful concessionaire with another company, Trade Modernization Project Limited, registered by CAC in April 2022. This one is to recap our memory to the fact that that is something that has been awarded before. And in the process of implementing it, these elements in the government, they try to introduce some technical hiccups into it. So it is that technical hiccups that they now went to lie to Mr. President, that they are bringing in another company. That company was registered in April 2022. April 2022. Number one, they now changed the term of agreement, which was earlier agreed in the earlier agreement with the former one. They chased away, or they are trying to chase away, because the court has restrained them. The new thing now is that this new Trade Modernization Project Limited, that is the new concessionaire, will not have to pay anything to start the project. So it's as if government is now trying to fund a private venture. It's like UBEC and the state. The state have counterpart funding to UBEC. Federal government will provide their own. Are you getting my point? But most states cannot draw from the UBEC account as in project if they have not paid their. Are you getting the point I'm making? So this trade modernization project now, being spearheaded by Ahmed Ali and his cohorts, without any kobo, they've given them express permission to access $300 million without anything, nothing on ground, as in to start the work. Specifically, on February 20, 2023, Justice Inyang Ekwo asked all parties to preserve the rest of the matter and do nothing to interfere with the proceedings. That is when the other constitutional took them to court. So an order was given on 20 February 2023 that everybody should maintain status quo ante. Before the Federal Executive Council committed a similar illegality, that is after court have given that directive, on April 19, 2023, legal counsel in the dispute, Alhaji Ahmed Raji and Co., wrote a letter to the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, calling attention to the pendency of a suit on the subject matter at the Federal High Court, Abuja. He warned that the Ministry of Finance, at the guiding of the Comptroller General, Nigeria Customs Service, had perfected plans to present a memo for the Council's ratification of a new concessionaire in a brazen disregard for the rule of law. Specifically, the Senior Advocate of Nigeria had asked the Federal Executive Council to suspend, discontinue, or discountenance any request to initiate deliberations or a fresh request for approval for the award of the said contract to any other bidder aside the original approval granted by FEC members to E-Custom HC Project Limited. That is the original concessionaire that was granted the award. Alas, the federal government, the Federal Executive Council, presided by a professor of law, went ahead to commit an illegality in a brazen manner capable of causing friction between the executive and the judiciary. That's to tell you that the federal government, President Buhari was not around that time. These people still went and presented that memo to FEC. It was Professor Osinbajo that presided over the FEC meeting. And to some extent, that's why we are appealing to President Buhari now not to give life into that plan. But the memo has passed. The Federal Executive Council presided over by Professor Osinbajo on the 19th of April, I think, yes. 19th of April, 2023, passed that memo without due information to Mr. President. The role of AGF, that is the Attorney General, amount to deliberately laying landmines for the incoming administration. What is the motivation of the Chief Law Officer of the Federation, who is also an in-law to the President, to be actively complicit in perverting the course of justice? Because the implication is that once the litigation continues, the incoming government will now say that unless the thing is resolved, it will be in breach of law, that they cannot, continue with the project. So the question now asks is that the money they are hurriedly rushing to withdraw, what will happen to the money? Because the project will be stalled. It will be stalled by the incoming administration if they know that there is a litigation and a court order will be given to that extent. President Muhammadu Buhari must come clean by informing Nigerians if Ahmed Ali has his consent to hijack a project in favor of Trade Modernization Project Limited, a company registered in April 2022 and which never participated in the negotiation of E-Custom Modernization, which started as far back as 2015. That is when Mr. President conceived the idea. This Trade Modernization Project never participated in the bidding, in anything, and it was only registered in 2022. Is Ahmed Ali, as alleged, working to advance the interests of BSO and indirectly that of President Buhari? If their proposals are answered in the negative, the President should immediately dissociate himself and direct the Minister of Finance, Attorney General of the Federation, Customs Service to reverse the illegality committed before Ahmed Ali hangs a scandal on his head and soils his good reputation.